All right, let's start with the bird feeder. So things you're gonna need for this are a pencil. I like using pencil and wood because you can sand it. If I put that pencil mark on there, I could take my sandpaper and get it right out, okay? I'm going to be using a speed square. However, you probably don't need to use this for this. Other than that, any sort of thing to take some measurements. However, everything's pre-cut for you, so if you can guesstimate on what the sizes are, you'll be fine. But I'm going to kind of show you how I would make this if I was copying it. Now, I did plan this. Pretty much, I took some ideas from the internet and I kind of tweaked it a little bit because I knew that you guys were going to be taking this home and you would not be able to make the cuts yourself, so that's why I had everything pre-made. You can see this one right here was like the first one I tried to do. I just have it kind of pieced together here just to kind of get a rough idea of what I was working with. I think it took about 3 attempts before I kind of came to this design. Now it's not perfect, but using the material that we have, it worked out pretty well. So if I were to start with this, I would need my wood. So here's one of my pieces of wood. First things first, you got these little staples in here with the stickers on it. Some of you have these on your pieces, some of you don't. You do want to take those out, so you can kind of take them out however which way you want here. That I just took out one of the chunks. Let's get this other one. This is not a pliers, this is a wire cutter, but it'll work. Kind of improvising here. You can also use a flathead screwdriver or your fingers, however you want to do it. But you do want to take these out. There we go. All right, so there's our 2 pieces. Now I'm gonna start measuring. I'm gonna put these on just because I always wear them. So you have 2 top pieces, and as you kind of can see, they're a little bit off center because I was not able to cut miters on them. That would have just been really complicated for you guys. So I am at 16 inches, and there's 2 of them. So I would write tops in parentheses at 2 because there's 2 of them, and I'd write 16 inches. Now, 2 dashes above the number means inches. 1 dash would mean feet. So we're working in inches. So 16 inches for the top 2. All right, let's see. We'll go the risers. Okay, that's this piece right here. Now that is cut at a miter. Those are the only 2 pieces in here that we're going to cut at a miter. Now everything on here is exactly at equal measurements. So if I were to measure, actually we'll go inside here like this. That is at 10 inches. So risers, there's 2 of them, and that's at 10 inches. All right, now we can do the sides. Those are at 12 inches. There's 1, 2, 3. And that's at 12 inches. And then you have your end caps, which are at 6. Whoop. There's 2 of those at 6 inches. All right, so thing is pretty much measured. Now we just got to make some cuts. In future videos, I'm going to go by a step-by-step process of how you're going to assemble it. But today I'm just going to make all the cuts to show you what I had to do for you guys to get your kit. So I'm going to set this down. I got my cut list right here. Now I can start cutting. Alright, so normally when you're going to cut wood, you're going to want to make sure one end is completely flush. Alright, so what I would do is put this in the miter saw a little bit here, flush against the back. You want to keep your hand at least like a dollar bill's length away. Okay, that's just so you know that you're not going to cut yourself. Alright, so that took off a little slice. Now I can measure here. Alright, so the tops I need 2 at 16 inches. So I'm going to measure from the end to 16. Take my speed square. Now for you guys this would not really be necessary at home. It just helps. Alright, so now there's my first line of cut. Some of you are probably thinking, well, why don't you just take another 16 and put a line here at 32? But the reason you don't do that is because your blade has about 1/8 of an inch thickness. So if I were to cut right here and then cut again right there, it would be a little bit shorter than this first piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up, and I actually don't want to cut the line right next to it. There's 16 inches. Let's see how close I am. Yep, looks pretty good. So now I'm going to line these up right here. Be flush on that end. Now I can put a line on this one. Make one more cut. And there we go. Those are 2 perfect pieces. So these are the tops, all right? If you want, you could label them with some T's. Not really necessary because they're your 2 longest pieces. All right, I'm gonna put those over there. All right, everything else is pretty much the same. So instead of showing you how to measure, I'm just gonna cut them all and you can kind of watch. All right, so I'm gonna do the risers next. So those are 10 inches. I'm gonna keep these over here because we still have to cut those miters on that. We're gonna do that at the end. All right, so tops, risers, sides at 12 inches. Now, this piece right here is pretty much scrap, and hence where your coasters came from. So I would have taken this, cut this down right here, and that would have been 1 coaster for you. All right, moving on to the next board. Again, I want to cut off just a little bit on the end so I know that it's straight. Flush right there. One more of these ones. These are for the sides and the base. We'll mark them side, side, and base. Okay, put those in the cut pile. Alright, sides are done. End caps, 2 at 6 inches. Pretty straightforward there. Most speed squares are 6 inches, so I'll measure this one this way for you guys. Put a little line right there. Slide it up over. Make my mark. Alright, there's your end caps. Alright, E on the end. Cut pile. Now, that's all your cuts. So you have this much left right here. And, let's see if I measure this out. There's your hook holder. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4 coasters. That's all the scrap you have right here. Alright? So with 2 pieces, you can see how efficient we were of making everything. Now, could we have done something with this? Sure. Since these are dog ear cedar fences, that's where hence the dog ear comes from. Typically you don't really do anything with that, but that's pretty good to only have that little bit of scrap for 3 projects. Alright. Next. Actually, you know what? I'm going to send these in another video, and I'm going to show you how we're going to miter these corners. Alright?